Okay, welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. I'm Nate, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Today's episode's a post-fight show for UFC Fight Night, Chiesa versus Lee. This was an amazing card top to bottom, except for the main event, which had controversy. I like Kevin Lee, I like Michael Chiesa, but I just wanted a clean finish where there's no controversy. There's a clear-cut winner. So yeah, this is a post-fight rundown of the main card, and let's get started. So the main event was a lightweight clash with Kevin Motown Lee versus Michael the Maverick Chiesa, and Kevin Lee won by technical submission, rear naked choke, round one. However, Michael Chiesa did not tap out, and he was not passed out from the choke, and the ref, must have thought that he was out and pulled Kevin Lee off and called off the fight, but the thing is Michael Chiesa wasn't out. He got right back up and he argued with the ref, why did you stop the fight? But for here and now, Kevin Lee wins this fight, technical submission, rear naked choke, round one. But hopefully when Michael brings it up to the athletic commission, they are on his side and this gets turned to a no contest, and then they have a rematch, because right now it looks like a rematch is the best option for both these guys to get this thing settled and to have one move up the ranks and one move down the ranks. Yeah, it was a quick fight because the early stoppage that should not have happened. But yeah, nonetheless, for here and now, Kevin Lee is the winner, and he is that much closer to a title shot. Then in the co-main event, we had a catchweight belt because Johnny Hendricks did not make weight, and it was a catchweight at 188, and Tim Boesch, former light heavyweight, went up against Johnny Hendricks, and this was supposed to be a middleweight clash. But yeah, nonetheless, Tim Boesch, who did make weight, won by TKO, head kick and punches, round two, and it was an amazing fight from start to finish. Johnny Hendricks held his own for a little bit, but eventually got rocked and destroyed by Tim Boesch. And then in the women's strawweight division, we had Felice Herrig versus Justine Kish, and this was a grappling war where Felice Herrig brought it, but Justine Kish had some moments on the ground, very brief moments, however, and Felice Herrig, she really sank in a rear naked choke on Kish that looked like, I thought Kish was going to be out, but she did not tap, and the ref got that one right, and it was a different ref. And so it turns into Felice Herrig won by unanimous decision, and it was 30-26 on two of the judges and 29-27 on the third judge. So it was a pretty dominant win for Felice Herrig, and I'm happy for her. She's worked hard to rejuvenate her career, and she's been fighting for a long time. So it's great to see her really make a statement with this big win, defeating a previously undefeated fighter in Justine Kish, who's really talented. And I think Justine Kish will learn from this loss and bounce back anyhow. Then we have a light heavyweight clash with Dominic Reyes, the newcomer to the UFC, going up against Joachim Christensen. Joachim Christensen, I picked him to win this fight, because I was like, he's a veteran, he's a world-class striker. But yeah, Dominic Reyes brought it, and it was TKO punches round one, 29 seconds into it, so it was a quick fight. It was pretty much Dominic Reyes storming in on him and then finishing him in 29 seconds. That's pretty much the whole fight right there. Then in the welterweight division, we had Tim Means versus Alex Garcia. Tim Means, I thought, was going to get a knockout on this one, but I did pick him to win nonetheless, and he did win. He won by unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. I forget what round it was, but there was one round where I could see maybe Alex Garcia had moments, but I think the judges got it right here. I think you had to have given at least two of the rounds, if not all three, to Tim Means. Tim Means, tough, durable veteran, and he moves up the ranks, so to speak, on this big win here. Because Alex Garcia is a big, bulky welterweight, and he can be tough to finish at times. Then, to kick off this amazing main card, we had Dennis the Menace Seaver in the featherweight division going up against former UFC lightweight champ of the world and Hall of Famer in BJ Penn. And yeah, I felt like I was like the only guy that picked Dennis Seaver to win this fight. And I thought he was going to win by knockout, but he won decision majority. And I think it should have been a unanimous decision, at least 29-28 across the board for Dennis Seaver. But yeah, one judge had it 28-28, and then another judge had it 29-28, and another judge had it 29-27. And so yeah, Dennis Seaver won by majority decision. It was that third round where I think it should have easily been a 10-8 round for Dennis Seaver across the board, because he landed some crazy number that was like 60 strikes to like 10, and at that point, it was somewhere in that ballpark where it was just like really lopsided. And then the first round I had for Seaver, then BJ Penn had a moment in the end of the second round, I believe it was, and where he got him to the ground, and I thought, oh boy, Dennis Seaver's going to work here and he's going to eat up the clock. But I knew Dennis Seaver is good enough in jiu-jitsu where he wouldn't get submitted, and he would avoid the ground with BJ Penn, who's a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and Seaver would keep it standing, which he could, and he did for the most part, and he just teed off on BJ Penn. And yeah, it was a great fight for Dennis Seaver. I'm really proud of Dennis Seaver. I'm a big fan of Dennis Seaver. He was like Germany's go-to guy in the UFC to like hope. I'm part German, and it's like we were hoping Dennis Seaver would be like the guy that would become the first German national to become UFC champ, and he's kind of at the tail end of his career. So him beating BJ Penn is sort of like, it solidifies his career and his fighting ability. Doesn't get him a title shot, but he can at least say that he beat a former UFC champ on his list, and a big name and a big respectable champ in BJ Penn. So there you have it. That wraps up this post-fight show. Stay tuned in the coming days for my pre-fight for the Ultimate Fighter 25 finale, where it's the welterweights from previous seasons duking it out to win a big lump sum of money and a contract with the UFC. And so there you have it, and stay tuned for that one in the coming days. And until then, see ya.